Hey everyone, it's the middle of August 2025 and we have another explore for you. We're in southern Alaska. Some areas the trees are already bright yellow, getting ready for winter. I feel like the trees up here can sense the dramatic loss of daylight. This area goes from having almost 24 hours of daylight to now probably about 16 hours. I think it notices the dramatic shift. But I found this cool abandoned gas station. There's actually a lot of abandoned gas stations. This is the fourth one I've explored up here in the past couple weeks. You can tell somebody's been dumping tires, or maybe it is from the shop. And here looks like an abandoned gas pump, I'm thinking. There's an abandoned building back here, lots of raspberries. This looks like, what, a chicken coop? No. It's a wine cellar, I think. No animals are living in here, right? I think it's a wine cellar. Or a root cellar for vegetables back in the day. I've seen those before in abandoned buildings. They build it just like a mausoleum underground. It's kind of cool. But this place is really collapsed and falling apart here. There's some abandoned vehicles. That looks like an abandoned freezer. I like to take pictures and document these places before they're lost forever. I'm surprised some of these places are still standing. Get a picture of that. Pretty cool. The seats are all torn up in there. And you can see the whole driveway right here. You pull in from the road, pull back out. More gas pumps, more diesel pumps. And the weight of the snow up here, whole building, you can tell the roof caved in, pushing the wall out slightly, breaking the window. What I like is there's almost no vandalism at these places. What about here? What's in there? Just a shed. Very overgrown. I don't think this place has been open in a good decade or more. Looks like a spot where a dog would have lived. That's my guess anyway. Old freezer. Is this gonna open? The door's literally stuck from the building shifting. It's not locked. The building just shifted from a heavy snow load. Let's see if there's another way around. There is another door, but the debris piling up, I don't think it would open, and it's locked. But there's a way in here. I'm not going in, I'm just looking. Oh wow, look at that. That looks like rot damage, maybe even a little bit of fire damage. Wow. Look at that. Looks like a little apartment of some sort, or a workshop. Bad damage in there. But that's not the whole building. That's only not even half of the building. picnic table. I saw a truck's hood. And look at these stacks of brand new lumber probably at the time. Let's see if there's any way in this building. This place will be torn down soon. No. I don't know what that is. Maybe that was where they used to shovel coal in back in the day. These stairs still look okay. Look at all the pumps. They must have had water problems. Sump pump. Just don't want to find a bear. See a water heater. I see vent ducts. But that's a cellar. That's not even a basement. Is that a torch I'm looking at? Or a lamp? Oil lamp? That is sketchy. Look at the stucco. Fell right off the old wood siding. I'm not confident we're gonna get a way in. Making sure I'm wearing my steel sole shoes. Let's see what we got in there. Maybe we'll find a way in, I'm not sure. What we got? At least we get to see in some of these rooms if we don't find a safe way in, because we might not find a safe way in with most of the building very collapsed. What about in here? Very collapsed, even down to the basement. Look how distorted it looks with the paneling all bowing. Fuel oil tank. Here's a look. The whole roof collapsed right there. What was this tank used for? Water? Is it a silo? There's a little drainage canal right here. Burn pile. Does anyone know what this tank was for? Water? Oil? I don't know. I suppose it could have been oil. If this was an automotive shop, a lot of those places will save your oil and fluids and burn them in the cold winter. Because you saw the fuel oil tank. Most fuel oil furnaces will do fine with old motor oil. Let's check out the front of this place a little bit more up close, just to see if we could potentially find a way in. As you saw what this door looked like on the other side, we don't want to go in there. Very rotten deck. Be very careful where I stand. This isn't a normal deck. The studs are not spaced where you'd expect them. Very thick wood. So I guess it didn't need to be spaced by code. And this door, yeah, it's locked. And if it wasn't locked, I don't think it would budge very far based on how the inside of the building looked. Look at the size of this fuel tank, or who knows what this truck was hauling when it was abandoned here. Explosives. That crate says this area is blowing up a lot of mountains, fixing the roads up. Let's see what we find in here. Pretty cool. Lots of rot damage. An old stove. See, no vandalism, no theft. And look back here. There's a chest freezer. Old school vacuum. I have a video of fixing one up that was similar to this, but look, rest of the building, you're not going through there. I like to note it's got a modern electric meter. Looks very new. Look at that old television set. Look how nice they were. That nice wood. What kind of appliance am I seeing right there? There's no way we're getting over there. Really cool building. Mason jar caps. What's this? It's covered in bird poop. Someone crocheted a dinosaur. I think that's what that is. And look at that stucco wall. All the walls are really pulling apart from the weight of the snow. And we'll button this place back up in a minute. There's a nice big wood stove. Water heater. Pretty cool. Lots and lots of random stuff. Were they having yard sales? Was it a hoarder? I don't know. Someone was saving a lot of lumber, and this stuff didn't even rot. That part of the building's in good shape. Okay, let me put the camera down for a minute while we re-secure this. Okay. Leave it basically how they had it. Oh, come on. It was tricky, but I finally got it re-secured. I had to tie another knot around it. But now, we're gonna figure out where we left off. Here's behind that room. Got some bicycles. Bunch of recycling. They must have been turning in their cans for that deposit change. But let's look at this other building before we head on out. A lot more bicycles. Containers of oil. Hawaii. The Aloha State. Pretty cool. There's an exercise bike in there. Back up here by this makeshift tanker truck. Full of stuff inside there. Let's see what's up in this part of the building. Might be a dead animal in here. Smells like a dead body. Lots of gears. Definitely an automotive shop. Another wood stove. Lots of tires again. More bicycles. Maybe they repaired bicycles too. It might be used motor oil and or sitting water. There's a big tire up front, transmission. Let's try to walk around the last part of the building, see if there's a way in. We're just here to take pictures, not here to damage anything. If we can't find a way in, then we'll leave it at that. You can tell kids don't play at this place. Look at that. Intact glass. Usually kids will smash everything they can. They cause fires, all kinds of stuff. That's why I don't give out locations to these places other than the state or wherever it might be. I don't go into any further detail. Here's a window, we're gonna get a view in there. Be careful of whatever animal could be here. More of the same stuff. Nope, this one got motorcycles, not just bicycles. Look at that. It's really cold in here too. No reason to go in. I can see exactly what I need to in here. That right there might be a waste oil furnace or a fuel oil furnace. I think it is. Just looking at the exhaust pipe, it would probably be skinnier if it was gas. Lots of new lumber. There's a lot more bicycles hanging on the wall over there. Pretty cool. Bird's nest right here. And this looks like an air compressor tank. You gotta be careful. Raccoons like to hide in the rafters of places like this. Look at that. An extended oil pan. What size engine would that be for? Looks about the same size off a box truck. Another bicycle. Lots of bicycles. I think this guy used to work on or even be a bicycle shop. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna get a few more pictures here before I head out. What is this stand? What was on the top of that? Get a nice still picture of that. Get a few still pictures of the front of it again. And I'll add them to the end. Thanks for watching, everyone. And have a great day. This building's probably the most structural of them all. And a green toilet. I love how toilets used to be different colors back in the 60s and 70s. You could buy any color you wanted. And I had to add a little bit more to this video because there is a car here. I love the cars with those headlights. They were so easy to replace because every vehicle kind of had the same lights. Trucks, everything. And look inside there. Look at all that growing on the seat. It's pretty cool. Let me get a still shot of this little car. It's pretty cool.